Hello, this is going to be a slightly different video than my normal. Probably closer to a ramble than anything. I finally finished with all of my emails, messages, posts, and whatnot that I received this morning asking why the market is crashing. Well, first of all, I have no idea that the market is crashing. But I have read through my Twitter feed and multiple other sources that this is supposed to be the great market crash of 2022. And with the flood of this stuff, along with YouTube being filled with stacks of videos proclaiming the end of the market as we know it, telling everybody they should take their money out now. First, let's just stop right there and just think about this whole process about selling off everything and taking your money out. Okay, you sold off everything, you've got your money. Now you've got two choices. You can either do an ACH transfer or some type of a bank transfer, which usually takes 3 to 5 days. You can do a wire transfer, which could be up to as much as 10% of whatever you're transferring, and have your money right here and there. But if this truly was a market crash on some unprecedented level, your money's worthless anyway. So trying to take it out and get a hold of it, you're not going to be able to. If this was truly a market crash, banks aren't going to do transfers. They're not going to do wires, ACHs, or anything else. So a mass panic sell-off isn't going to do you any good anyway. So let's just be blunt about this and say all of this nonsense of a market crash, it doesn't matter. If it crashes, you don't have your money. If it doesn't crashes and you've sold everything, you've taken some pretty serious losses. Really, the best thing to do is nothing at all. Because then whatever you have running is going to continue running for the rest of the day, throughout the night, and tomorrow morning when you wake up, it'll probably still be running. I don't believe this is the end of the world. And if it was, it's just not going to matter. So let's just put aside all this fear-mongering nonsense about how the markets are crashing. So what? There's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. You're not going to get your money. And what is done is done. If the markets do crash, they do. Getting yourself in a frenzy, upset, and panicked, it's not going to do any good. This goes back to the very thing I've said from the beginning of my channel. Plan for the worst case scenario up front. Plan so that whatever money you put into the market, it's not coming back. Now, I'm not saying that if the market does crash, it's not going to hurt, because it is. It's going to hurt a lot. But there's not a damn thing I can do about it. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. It's already done if it's happening. And that's the whole point and problem of all this prognostication of how the market is going to crash. Even if you believed all of this last year, took your money out altogether, your money is still worthless. I've got a Monopoly box filled with money that'll probably be more valuable in a market crash than the money the government prints. So it doesn't really matter. The reality is very simple. If the market's crashing, so what? If the market doesn't crash, so what? Your planning is what will decide the best situation. Did you do enough planning? That is the only question you need to ask yourself. Did you plan for the worst case scenario? If you did, go on with the rest of your day and turn off Twitter and all of the rest of the nonsense proclaiming the end of the world. Sadly, or fortunately, I don't know which yet, the only thing I haven't read in my Twitter feed is that the aliens are attacking and some president of some country was assassinated by an alien warship. That is how crazy this morning has been for me. And it doesn't need to be. My trading is where it needs to be. Consistent, well thought out, and no matter what happens, I'm not going to worry about it. Because no matter what happens, what's done is already done. Now it's just a matter of accumulating for recovery. If the world does end and tomorrow doesn't come, well, I'm not going to live today worrying about my money turning to dust. If I wake up tomorrow morning and the world is what it is, well, I've gone on with what I needed to do, and whatever shape the market is in, all of my planning, research, and analysis is still going to be doing what I need it to do. Put aside the fear and the nonsense of the market. Plan for the worst case. Do your research. And don't follow the prognostications of people who shouldn't even be in the market to begin with. There is always a certain risk that any asset you have is going to be completely liquidated and taken off the map. I've had that happen more than once. Oh well, it happens. There are risks, and those risks just don't magically go away because of some new formula or some new thinking process. Those risks are always there. The risk of the internet going down and you not being able to communicate with your exchange is always there. The risk of a natural disaster taking out some cell tower or some landline that you need for a connection is always there. The risk that a coin is just such a poor performing coin that it could be liquidated and delisted is always there. These risks are just a part of the process. And I haven't even gone through countless other risks that exist. Living your life in fear of a market crash, what good is it going to do? How is this going to help you plan for whatever time is left if the market does crash? Because in all honesty, what is a market crash going to do? It's going to wipe out the entire financial system, period. All the money in your pocket isn't going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter, and the only real currency that is ever going to occur, is going to be your labor. In a real world of what really matters, the only real currency that never, ever collapses is labor. Everything else is simply fictitious and nonsensical. The value that people put on gold is meaningless because you can't eat it, it won't provide you medical treatment, you can't drink it, and it won't provide you shelter. Your labor can do all of the above. You can grow food. You can grow medicines or trade your labor for somebody who does have medicines. You can build a shelter. And you can dig for water or again trade your labor for somebody that does have water. So the whole point of this video is to answer the countless questions of what do I think about a market crash. I think it's nonsense, period. I think it's over-bloated hype pushed by institutionals looking to scare people to sell off so they can buy cheap. It's absolute, utter rubbish. Looking at this chart on the screen, standard range hunter, and equilibrium running in the middle. The market looks perfectly healthy. Normal correction cycles. Things I would expect on a normal, typical day. Nothing new, nothing surprising, nothing that tells me the end of the world is coming. And XRP is a coin I don't like. Its volatility is abysmal at best, and its value is stagnation at worst. But it is a good indicator, like many other coins, of just what the market is doing. And it is hovering around its median pretty good. That is the point. Let's take a look at another coin. Let's look at Bitcoin. Get the noise out of the way. Again, nothing that overly suggests something I should worry about. If anything, this is a pretty healthy market. Standard, normal correction cycles. Please, just turn off the news, turn off Twitter, go out into the world and don't listen to this nonsense. Even without seeing whatever is going on to the news. I don't need to see the news to know what the markets are doing. Just look at the markets. They tell you what they're doing. Make decisions based upon logic. Not because somebody is saying the world is going to end or the markets are crashing. Because either way, it's not going to matter. Your money is not going anywhere. If the world was going to end, it wouldn't do you any good. If the markets did crash, you're not going to get your money because the banks are going to freeze all transfers. So the best place for your money is right where you have it, doing what it should be doing, because you're not going to recover it. In a true market crash, and we've seen this from the Great Depression on multiple times from country after country after country that has gone through economic collapses. Money is worthless. Trying to rush the bank to get your money out isn't going to help you. And people who have gold thinking that's going to be their savior, they're no better off. Stop listening to the fear of the media trying to drive the markets into some economic turmoil. The only thing you need to focus on in your trading is analysis and research. if you want to look at a market that shows steep drops, you can do that. For example, if I go to, let's just turn off some of the noise here and go to the 5-minute market. Throughout all of the turmoil today, you would have thought this would be more active. It's not. Let's go to the 13-minute market. Again, no collapse. No unusual price activity. Nothing that you would suggest would be anything along the levels of even the March 2020 market correction. Let's just turn everything off. Let's look at the candles by themselves. There's nothing there. It's a standard market. That's the point. So what is driving all of this nonsense about the markets collapsing? 2 words and 2 things. Greed and fear. Very simply put, the greedy people trying to scare the hell out of people that shouldn't be in the market to begin with, so they can make themselves richer, because the people that are afraid of their own shadows are panicking and selling everything they own. Over what? It's time to put this boogeyman to bed. Life goes on, and as you can see from this market, it does too. Hopefully this will help answer some of the more direct questions that I've gotten this morning in my email and other social media accounts. I can't emphasize it enough. Plan for the worst case scenario to begin with. If it does happen, you've made your plans. Don't get in the middle of them. Let them do what they're supposed to do. If you've done what you should have done to begin with your planning, it's not going to matter which way the market goes. Because either way, it's going to go where it's going to go. And at that point in time, there is still nothing you can do about it, except make whatever situation is there worse. Trade safe, do your research, take time to make sure you understand the market you are trading in. There is no such thing as the perfect opportunity that will never come again. Markets are filled with opportunities all the time. It's just a matter of having the patience, planning, fortitude, and knowledge to capitalize on those situations. Don't let fear and emotion drive your trading. Trade with mathematics, science, algorithms. Let the machine do what it does best. Until next time.